Hello, my name is Shelley Nicholson, and I'm the Assistant Director of the Pre-Professional Advising Office at the University of Utah. I'd like to welcome you to this short presentation explaining who the Pre-Professional Advising Office is, some of the resources that we provide, and really how to start becoming a competitive applicant as a pre-health student. The Pre-Professional Advising Office, or PPA for short, is comprised of 5 advisors. One of the main things that we do as advisors in our office is sit down one-on-one with students in half-hour appointments to help you figure out what your plan is. You are welcome to schedule an appointment with any of us really at any time, and you can do so by clicking on the link that's on your screen right now. If you have questions, please feel free to email us at ppa@advising.utah.edu. The Pre-Professional Advising Office advises for 10 healthcare programs and pre-law. I'd like to point out that nursing is not a part of this because the Pre-Professional Advising Office does not advise for nursing. We recommend that you sign up for our weekly newsletter. In these newsletters, you'll find information about such things as upcoming events, opportunities for community service, patient experience, leadership opportunities, etc. It's a really good resource for you. You can easily sign up by going onto our website at ppa.utah.edu and clicking on newsletters at the top menu bar. Admissions into health professions programs is incredibly competitive, and I like to think that students essentially need to do 3 things in order to be competitive. You got to talk to people, you have to take some classes, and you got to do some stuff. Now that's a very simplistic way of thinking about it, but let me kind of break that down. So when I say you got to talk to people, by that I mean you need to get academic advising. And at the University of Utah, there are essentially 3 ways to do that. One of the first ways is by talking to us in the Pre-Professional Advising Office. So our advisors are here to help you successfully prepare for these professional schools and to really guide you through that application process when the time comes. Our services include such things as helping you figure out your prerequisite courses, semester by semester plans, talking with you about your extracurricular activities, and eventually, once you get a lot closer to the application process, we'll do things like review your application before you turn it in. We will review your personal statements, and we can even do mock interviews. So pre-professional advising is something that we recommend that you do, and by that I mean meet with us at least once a semester in order to make sure that you're on top of it and to stay on track of what your plan is. Another incredibly important way to get academic advising at the University of Utah is by speaking with your department and talking to your major advisor. So major advisors exist for the sole purpose of helping you figure out what you need to do for your major and in order to help you figure out how to graduate. So they can help you decide if your major is the right fit for you. They can help you navigate different departmental policies and any other admissions requirements for the major. They can also do things like connect you to departmental opportunities and resources. So your major advisors are a key component to being successful as a student at the University of Utah. Now the third way to get academic advising at the U is through a department called the Academic Advising Center. So the Academic Advising Center is basically the general academic advising center on campus, and they can do things like help you figure out graduation requirements, general education requirements. They can help you interpret policies and more. So step 1, talk to people, and there's a lot of different people to talk to. Step 2 to being successful are taking a bunch of classes. And so again, by taking a bunch of classes, I mean that you need to take a lot of prerequisites. So each professional program, med school, dental school, PA school, all of these programs require basically a specific set of courses that you need to take in order to be academically prepared for these programs. So in the Pre-Professional Advising Office, we can help you figure out what those classes are and maybe the sequence that you should be taking those. The third thing that you need to do in order to be successful as an applicant to these programs are you got to do some stuff. So you have to get involved. You need to do community service. You need to do leadership experiences. You might need to do research. You have to shadow. There's all of this stuff outside of school that you need to do to prepare to prepare in order to be competitive as applicants to these programs. And again, with the Pre-Professional Advising Office, we can sit down with you, talk to you about what your plans are, what your goals are, what your interests are, and to help you come up with a pretty good idea of what you should be doing for your extracurricular activities. Choosing a major. This is one of the most common questions we get during orientation. What should I major in? So I want to start off by saying there's a lot of good news and that you can study literally whatever you want. No, we recommend that you study what you love. And why we say that is because these admissions committees for these different programs don't really care about what your major is. What they care a lot about is that you do well in whatever you choose and that you can talk about why you chose that particular major. So you should care a lot about the major that you choose because you're the one who's going to be taking all of these classes. You're going to be putting in the time and the energy and the money to take all this stuff. So we really want you to focus and study what you love. So I want to be very clear that at the University of Utah, these professional programs are not majors. So for example, if you are a pre-med student, pre-med is not your major because pre-med does not exist as a major at the University of Utah. So you cannot major in pre-med or pre-dental or anything like that. You have to actually select a major. And the University of Utah has over 80 majors for you to choose from, which is awesome. I also want to make really clear that the major that you eventually choose does not have to be a science major. It can. It absolutely can. If a student comes up to me and says, "Hey Shelly, I'm a biology major," I'll say, "That's awesome. Why?" And if a student says, "Well, biology is my jam. This is what I love. This is what I want to study. This is how I want to spend my time and my energy," then I think that that major could probably be a really good choice for that student. But if another student says, "I want to be a biology major because I thought I had to, or I thought I should in order to be a competitive applicant for medical school," I'm going to have a conversation with that student on whether or not that's going to be the best fit for them. One other consideration that we really want you to think about is to consider the end result. Like, let's say you want to be a doctor. Cool, you're a doctor tomorrow. Poof, you're a doctor. What else are you doing other than working with patients? What do you want to do as a physician? Do you see yourself teaching? Do you see yourself doing research? Do you want to travel the world and do something like Doctors Without Borders and use your skills in places that really need it? We really want you to think about what you can do now in college by choosing things like your major, how that could have a really big impact on your future goal as a physician. So to reiterate, it does not have to be a science major. It's totally fine if it's a science major. And we really want you to study what you love. Now, if you are undecided about your major, a couple things with that. You're not alone. A ton of students at the University of Utah, especially those who are just starting off and going through orientation, really don't know what they want to major in. So one of the things I want to point out to you right now is that there are a lot of ways and a lot of resources for you to take advantage of to help you make your decision. One of those ways is by taking an actual class. There's a course called Major Exploration, and that is UGS 1050. And that course is taught by academic advisors in the Academic Advising Center to help you look at, okay, what are your skills, what are your interests, what are your goals, and the point of the class is to help you figure out the tools in order to make a really good decision on choosing your major. The second point here is a website called majors.utah.edu. This is an awesome website that I'm going to recommend everybody go to, even if you have an idea of what you want your major to be. It's an excellent resource where we've basically put all the majors together alphabetically. You can get quick looks about them. You can get an idea of what the programs are about, what the student experience is about, potential first semester classes that you could choose. So majors.utah.edu is a super chill way to start researching the majors that we offer at the University of Utah. So I've talked about the Academic Advising Center a couple of times. So a huge part of what the Academic Advising Center also does is major exploration advising. So if you are one of the students going through orientation who's thinking to yourself, oh my God, I'm interested in 15 different majors and I don't really know where to go from there, I strongly recommend that you connect with the Academic Advising Center and meet with them for major exploration. One final way, if you're interested in doing this, is discussing career advising with a department on campus called the Career and Professional Development Center. So they are an excellent resource for students who are interested in the healthcare field but don't really know what that means or don't really know what those options are. So career advising with the Career and Professional Development Center is, again, one additional resource that the U has to help you make a decision on what you might want to choose as your major. Obviously, academics are an important piece of any pre-health student's application. You have to be able to demonstrate to professional programs your ability to be academically successful. Most health professions programs will look at multiple GPAs when considering applicants. Common GPAs are your total, science or prerequisite, and non-science. Most programs will have a 3.0 minimum for these separate GPAs, and the average GPA for accepted applicants for a lot of programs is usually around a 3.6. These science prerequisites are difficult, and you may find yourself in a situation where you might need to repeat a class for a hopefully higher grade. It's important to understand that different health professions programs will view repeats differently, but they will all consider all grades to be counted towards your GPA. There are many policies at the University of Utah which exist to help students academically. Withdrawing from classes is an example of this. When a student withdraws from a class after the drop deadline, a grade of W will appear on the transcript. W's, or withdrawals, do not affect your GPA in any way, but it's important to minimize the number of withdrawals on your academic record. A couple of W's are okay, patterns are not, and may require an explanation. The bottom line is it's important to connect with your academic advisor if you are feeling like you may not be able to successfully complete a class. Keep talking to your advisors so we can help you stay on track. In order to prepare academically for health professions programs, you will need to take prerequisite courses. These core requirements are typically some combination of biology, chemistry, physics, math, and writing. Some of you might have prepared in high school for college by taking such things as AP, International Baccalaureate, or concurrent enrollment classes. Some AP and IB credits may place you into a higher level science course, although some AP and IB courses may not fulfill prerequisites for professional programs. Concurrent enrollment, however, is a little bit different, as concurrent enrollment classes are taken through a college or university, which means those courses are on a college or university transcript. So concurrent enrollment courses may be able to fulfill prerequisite requirements. The bottom line is that you really need to consult with a pre-professional advisor to help you understand these policies and where you stand. Essentially, most pre-health students will need some combination of community service, leadership, patient exposure, shadowing, and research. And the purpose of these activities is to demonstrate to your professional programs who you are, why you're interested in maybe medicine or health of some sort, maybe what kind of doctor you want to be or what kind of pharmacist you want to be, etc. In addition to the obvious importance of academics and the entrance exam scores, participating in these activities are a huge part of being a competitive applicant. You have to show who you are through what you do. In addition, you're going to gain a lot of skills as you participate in these extracurricular activities. Oral and written communication, teamwork, critical thinking, time management, etc. These skills are critical to demonstrating to these health professions programs, again, who you are as an applicant. It's important to be involved in a lot of stuff, and it's important to be involved for an extended period of time. We recommend that applicants have a really good balance between quality and quantity. And what I mean by that is you can't just have a ton of hours. And you can't just have a really quality experience. It has to be a good combination of both in order for you to demonstrate that breadth and that depth of involvement. So it's important not to just have a long list of activities that you've done just for a couple of hours each. We want you to get involved, and we want you to stay involved with these activities for a really good long time in order to demonstrate that commitment and the reliability and determination, connection to your the people that you're working with, etc. This stuff is critical. Don't neglect your classes to get involved in all of the fun opportunities we have at the University of Utah and outside of the U. Having a fantastic resume will not make up for poor grades. You can always add more activities as you go along, but as we mentioned earlier, you can never get rid of a low grade. For those of you who are pre-med, we strongly encourage you to attend a pre-med information session. We hold those virtually every other Thursday from 5 to 6:30 p.m. You can easily sign up on the Pre-Professional Advising website, which again is just ppa.utah.edu. These pre-med info sessions are for students who are interested in attending medical school in the future. And the advisor presenting is going to go over the basics of what we recommend that students do in order to be a competitive applicant. So it's really going into a lot more detail about things like your prerequisite courses and all of your extracurricular activities. I'd like to thank you for joining me today for this presentation. Remember, if you have any questions, please feel free to send us an email at ppa@advising.utah.edu. And students, remember that you are welcome to schedule an appointment with us by clicking on the link on your screen. I wish you luck with the rest of orientation, and we can't wait to see you in the fall.